Hi guys, here's a question for you. Do I look like I'm in massive amounts of pain? If the answer is no, then huzzah! I love to read a book and be absorbed in words. Okay, so regardless of the fact that I currently feel like I'm being split open and set on fire, I decided that enough was enough. The guilt was just getting too much for me. I couldn't keep looking at these piles of books that have been sitting in front of the bookcase for several months now. I couldn't do it anymore, so I have to give you a big book haul. These won't be relayed in the direct order of purchase because I have no idea what followed what and when. One thing that was a really lovely surprise this year was a little package sent from Misty at the Book Rat. She sent me a Better World Books package out of the blue because I'd had a little discussion on Twitter talking about how I did not own any of the Terry Windling, Ellen Datlow fairy tale anthologies. I just made that comment on Twitter and had a little chat to Misty about it because we're both fairy tale nerds and it's a shared passion. And then she said, oh, I might be sending a surprise your way. What's she gone and done? Then I got our Better World Books haul. So because these are from Better World Books, they are in various secondhand condition, which is totally doesn't bother me at all. I'm just excited to have them because a lot of them are out of print. They're really hard to get because there's been so many anthologies to date now. So I'm just, yeah, really psyched. And Misty, you know I was ever so grateful. You're such a lovely lady, and it's wonderful sharing nerdtastic appreciation of fairy tales with you. So thank you so much again. In the collection that she sent me, I got Ruby Slippers Golden Tears, Blackthorn White Rose, Black Swan White Raven, The Dark of the Woods Fairy Tales from Modern Times, and The Coyote Road Trickster Tales. And I've read a few short stories from The Coyote Road and The Dark of the Woods, and hopefully this can initiate my building up this collection even more over time because there's so many to acquire. Speaking of fairy tale retellings, I do have quite a number that are in and amongst all of this, so I'll list those first, I suppose. I grabbed Deathless by Catherine M. Valente. I am currently reading it. It's one of the many books I'm currently reading. I've wanted to read this one for a while. I do own the first in the Girl Who Circumnavigated series. I've yet to read it because I'm a very bad person, but I have also got a heap of her short story anthologies on my Kindle. And I'm probably going to do a separate Kindle video maybe at some stage because there's been a great many books added to that as well over the past few months. But I have many of her short stories and I've been reading those and really enjoying them. And this one in particular focuses on Russian folklore. It's Koshi the Deathless, I think, is one of the titles for the particular folktale, but this is sort of written as a prelude to the known folktale and then weaves it in at the end and stuff. And it's very interesting and it's got a great deal of Russian 20th century history woven through it. It's quite disturbing at times, and Catherine definitely has a really distinctive narrative voice, so yeah, I'm reading Deathless. I also got The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. This was mentioned in one of Maddie's wrap-ups, I believe, over at Ramblings in Green Tea. She spoke really highly of this, and then I saw it mentioned in a few other videos and saw some really positive stuff on Goodreads, but it was Maddie's praise of it and her description of the novel that made it really catch my eye, and so I went out and purchased it. I'm not very far into it, but it's got a very strong fairy tale feel to it, very lyrical prose, which I'm enjoying. An Aussie fairy tale esque purchase is Fairy Tales for Wild Girls by Alice Neer, and I'd been looking at this one for a little while every time I was in the bookstore, and mainly wanted to purchase it for the title and the concept, which has like a dead girl in a cage and mythical woods and like a kind of punkish teenage girl, and the fact that it was an Aussie author, and I get patriotic, especially with fantasy authors in Australia, so I wanted to pick this up. It's a debut, and thus far, I'm not too far into it, but it's got a really unique flavour to it, and I'm enjoying it. It's sort of kind of reminding me a little bit of Lisa Menchev's Theatre Illuminata series. I grabbed The Golem and the Djinni by Helen Recker. This wasn't a direct recommendation from anybody. I'd seen a number of positive video reviews and positive Goodreads reviews on it, and because it's a little bit magical realism, a little bit historical fiction with some different mythology woven in there, I just thought that sounds nice. And also it's adult fantasy, and I'm trying to acquire more of that, because for a long time the majority of fantasy and high fantasy I was reading was YA, which is totally fine, but I'm just wanting to encounter some protagonists who are outside of their teens. I finally caved in and purchased The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I've seen, over the past year and a half or so, I've seen a lot of positive reviews. Teresa over at Ivy Muse really enjoyed it. Madeline over at Madeline Cassia, is that how you say your last name? I hope I didn't mispronounce it, sorry. Is it Iona? If it isn't, I feel like a horrible human being. Where is Wallace? Also really enjoyed it. So I thought, you know what, I'll give this one a whirl. About halfway through, and it's pretty good so far. A birthday present from my dear friend Fran was The River of No Return. I wanted to get this one after I saw a really positive review on it from Small Good Leaf. I'll be linking all of the video reviews in the doobly-doo in my pants so you can check them all out. But yeah, the concept just sounded really cool. Someone claimed that it's like the love child of Jane Austen and Doctor Who. So who wouldn't want to read that? I'm not too far into it, but it's really good so far, and I'm thinking that it might one day make an interesting TV series. I might only be thinking that though because Outlander has become a TV series, so time travel is in my head at the moment. I was influenced further by other booktubers. Sana over at Inkbones Books did a video on, I believe she called it Fantasy of Manners, where it's Regency, Victorian era, high fantasy. And two texts that she mentioned were Shades of Milk and Honey by Mary Robinette Kowal, which is Regency era, kind of Jane Austen period, with magic, with glamour being one of the fine arts that young ladies learn. So I thought that's kind of cool. A little way into it, and at first I thought, oh dear, this might be a bit superficial and a little bit juvenile, but it's improving as it goes, which is good. Another one that I believe was mentioned in Sana's video was Tooth and Claw by Jo Walton, which was claimed to be the Pride and Prejudice of the dragon world. I believe that's a little bit of a misrepresentation. It's apparently based more around Anthony Trollope's novels than Jane Austen's, but certainly the dragons, it's all about family feuds and dramas among a family of dragons, which just sounds really fabulous. And because I got Tooth and Claw by Jo Walton, it led me to seeing a lot of positive reviews and talk about the book that preceded that one, which is Among Others, and it was a Hugo Award winner and a Nebula Award winner, so pretty well liked in the fantasy community. And subsequently, since purchasing this one, I've seen plenty of people sing its praises, including Mercedes, and she recently did a video on fantasy books that she really enjoyed, and this one got a mention. Yet another recommendation from a dear friend, Lara, over at Lara Elwing. She really loved Kate Atkinson's Life After Life. I believe it was her favourite book of last year. So I thought I will pick this one up because Lara loved it and I trust Lara. And I know that it was shortlisted for a heap of awards and whatnot. So this has some time travel in it, and plenty of history, but I did start it and got a little way into it and then kind of not lost interest, but lost my flow, so I'm going to restart it at some point and get my way through it. Pretty much everyone has said that this is good, so I kind of trust everyone with saying that The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss is a worthwhile high fantasy. I haven't heard anyone say that they didn't enjoy it, in all honesty. And yes, sometimes that can be a bit daunting or unnerving. I have been known to feel like the one person standing outside the circle saying that they didn't enjoy something that's beloved by many. But we'll see. In May, around my birthday, I went to the Sydney Writers' Festival, and there were some book sales going on there. They're usually pretty damn pricey, or the average price of an Australian book, which is like $30 for a paperback. But I thought I'd make at least one purchase while I was there. So I did grab The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt, because I'm going to try to read more literary fiction, even though I hate that term for the genre, but anywho. And that links to Lara sending me The Secret History by Donna Tartt for my birthday. Thank you, Lara. I've got myself some Donna Tartt. With more literary fiction, I grabbed The Elegance of the Hedgehog by Muriel Barbery, because this is one I've heard folks say for a few years now that they quite like. I believe that Alexandra over at Small Steps Backwards really loves this book, and again, hers is an opinion I trust. So I've been wanting to grab this one for a while because it's a book about books and it's by Gabrielle Zevin, and I really like Gabrielle Zevin. And it's the collected works of A.J. Fikry, also known as The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry, which I believe is the US title. And I've read this one and I really enjoyed it. I know Rincey really liked this one. 3 more fairy tale-ish anthologies that I've grabbed. I got Rags and Bones, which is New Twists on Timeless Tales, and it's edited by Melissa Marr and Tim Pratt, and if Melissa Marr's involved, then I'm going to say yes. I grabbed Queen Victoria's Book of Spells, an anthology of gaslamp fantasy, which is fabulous. And this was an Ellen Datlow and Terry Windling anthology, so that was kind of the thing that triggered me realizing I don't have any of their other stuff, what? And I've read a number of stories in here and they're really cool. Some are very disturbing, but really nifty. It's kind of blending two things I love, which is high fantasy and costume drama together. I even geeked out over the introduction because that's how nerdy I am. The Cottingley Fairies were mentioned. And I got Fragile Things by Neil Gaiman because I don't own this one, and I have read most of the stories in here before, but I wanted to own it because I did quite enjoy them. More Neil Gaiman. I finally own The Ocean at the End of the Lane. I've not read it yet, again because I'm evil, but I own it, even if I hate this cover. Again, a book that everybody has loved, so looking forward to it. And I went to see him at the beginning of last year, and he read from it, and it was really cool. Again, supporting Aussie fantasy authors, I grabbed Dragonclaw, which is the first of the Witches of Sorry, Kate. By Kate Forsyth, who's an Aussie author I really like. She's written some really great adult fantasy fairy tale-ish books, Bitter Greens and The Wild Girl, and I've not read any of her high fantasy series. I'm looking forward to reading it, if only I could learn how to pronounce it, sorry. We're nearing the end. I grabbed I Capture the Castle one day because I remembered that I don't own a copy of it, and shame on me. And I quite like this cover. It's simple but nice. I Capture the Castle by Jodie Smith. I now own a copy, so all is right with the world. I've wanted to grab this one for a while. It's If on a Winter's Night a Traveller by Italo Calvino. The concept of this just sounds fascinating because it's written in second person. So it's saying that you are doing things as you go through it, and it's as though you're encountering the stories as a reader, but then getting inserted into them, and it changes genres throughout and stuff. It just sounds really nifty. I've read a few chapters. It seems like a lot of fun. Talking of classics, I also grabbed Emily Dickinson's Letters. This was a birthday present to me because I'm a big Emily Dickinson fan, so I wanted her letters, and it's a really cute little hardback edition. I grabbed Twitterature, the world's greatest books retold through Twitter, just for fun, and it is quite amusing. I got A Short History of Myth, which is the first of the myth series from Canongate, is what they're called. Things like the Penelopead, which is by Margaret Atwood. In the series, they've enlisted some really well-known authors to do short retellings of myths, and this one kind of just gives you more of a summary, I suppose, of mythological tropes and characters and stuff to kick start it all off. So I thought I'd grab this one before I tried to get any of the others, but like Alexander McCall Smith's involved, I think that Philip Pullman did one, and as I mentioned, Margaret Atwood did one, so yeah, just geeky thing I wanted to grab. Some random purchases. I got The Word Exchange by Elena Graydon. It's a world in which books, libraries and newspapers are things of the past. A world in which we spend our time glued to handheld devices. Ha 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 ha. There's a digital marketplace called The Word Exchange. Being that I'm a bit of a bibliophile and a little bit of a Luddite in my fear of and suspicion of technology sometimes, I thought that might be fun. And as you know, I just love books about books. I picked up The Gravity of Birds by Tracy Guzman, but either or. I know that there's family drama, and I just thought at the time that I wanted some more general adult fiction. Following along with general adult fiction, I got Rachel Hawes' A Place of Secrets, because they say if you like Kate Morton's books, and I do, I'm a big Kate Morton fan, then you'll like Rachel Hawes' stuff. So I'm slowly going to try to acquire some of her books, just for informative, fun purposes. The noticeably stouter book of General Ignorance from QI. A friend gave me this for my birthday, and I love QI. And I grabbed Bill Bryson's At Home, which is a history of domesticity and the different areas of the house. And Bill Bryson is an awesome dude, and I really like his writing, and he makes history really fun and entertaining. And then finally, I got The Happiness Project, because I've joined a group with some friends, and we're doing our own happiness project throughout the year, and giving ourselves different activities that we're working on as a group and individually to kind of increase our own personal happiness in life. So I wanted to grab this one just so I'd at least kind of read the source material that we were kind of basing our stuff off. So it's okay. I don't agree with everything stated in there, but there's certainly some good ideas and good insights. And with any self-help book, you take what is applicable and resonates with you. I did also grab some more journals, which I'm going to be detailing when I finally do I'm gonna do a mashup of some journal tags that have been going around. I grabbed a happiness journal. I grabbed the Happiness Project 1 Sentence a Day prompt journal as the sentence a day journal, where you really do get exact prompts for each day. So like, when was the last time you cried and why? And it's both of them are 5-year journals. So you just do a sentence a day for 5 years, given the prompts. And I'm really getting into that kind of journaling at the moment. I think that was everything. Holy shite. So that was a lot of books, and I'm so sorry. This is going to take years to edit. But I filmed it, it's done. Those are the books that I have amassed in the months that have passed. I know I owe so many videos. They will be getting done. Those are all the books. Thank you to everyone whose recommendations inspired me. Thank you to everyone who gifted things to me. I love you all. Thank you for your patience, and I'll see you soon, and happy reading.